You know that feeling, the one that crawls under your skin in the dead of night. That nagging sense that your life isn't quite your own, that the script you're following is someone else's story, not yours. You try to tell yourself it's okay, that you're in control, but deep down you know the truth. We all carry these secrets, these hidden fears. We all feel, at some point, like puppets on a string. Are you tired of feeling like a bystander in your own existence? Tonight, we're going to peel back the layers, to delve into a story that mirrors our own hidden struggles. This isn't just a tale of heartbreak. This is a story about reclaiming your voice, about daring to challenge the narrative that's been forced upon you. It's about the quiet rebellion that brews beneath the surface, waiting for the moment to erupt. It's about a woman who discovers that her strength has always been there, waiting patiently for its moment. Are you ready to uncover the hidden truths that hold the key to your own liberation? You know, it's time. Let the whispers begin. Have you ever felt like the foundations of your life were shifting beneath you? Like the solid ground you walked on was suddenly turning to sand? I certainly did. It began on what should have been just another ordinary day, a day that held no clues to the storm that was about to break. There I stood, in the house that had been my sanctuary, my refuge, when I found out that this place I called home was no longer mine. It wasn't just the house I found, but that which had once been my marriage as well. He walked in not alone, but with a woman young, vibrant, and a child, their hands clasped together. A trio that was meant to signify what he would deem a better life in his own words. It was like watching a play unfold, and I felt more like an observer in my own life. Here, he said, his voice hard, are the divorce papers. I need you and your son out of this house. I was a stranger in my own home. Had this home I loved become nothing more than a building, and I just a stranger who just stayed here a while? A sudden chill ran through me. It wasn't the fact that he was leaving me. It was that he was so cold, so distant. He hadn't become a stranger. He was a stranger. But it was then that my son spoke, his words cutting through the thick tension like a blade. Dad, he said, his voice low, you don't know anything. A simple statement, but so powerful in its truth. My husband, so sure of his actions, slumped, realizing that he had made an error, a big one, in thinking that he knew everything. My life wasn't just about being a wife. I was Miranda, a woman, a mother, a person in her own right. I had a small job, an assistant at a flower shop. It wasn't much, but it was mine. It allowed me to work with my love of beauty and create beauty out of that which might have been forgotten. For years, our life had been dictated by his job, his travels. He was more of a visitor than a partner. And yet, we had built a life, a home with my son, the two of us together. We had shared secrets, dreams, and late-night talks. My husband had come and gone, but my son had always stayed in this home with me. In the midst of my confusion, I found strength in the most unexpected place. My son. Eat, he said, handing me a sandwich. You can't think on an empty stomach. There he was, my boy, wise beyond his years, showing me that even in the darkest moments, there was still kindness, still hope, still strength in the love we shared. It was then I knew that I had to fight for us. In the midst of my confusion, I found strength in the most unexpected place. My son. Eat, he said, handing me a sandwich. You can't think on an empty stomach. There he was, my boy, wise beyond his years, showing me that even in the darkest moments, there was still kindness, still hope, still strength in the love we shared. It was then I knew that I had to fight for us. He came back, demanding that we leave. He brought his mistress, his child, a symbol of his betrayal and a new life he planned to build. I had not expected it to come to this. I felt so sad, so alone, and yet I refused to give in. What he did not realize was that his actions were never about me, never about our lives, but all about him and the life he wanted. He had used our lives, our family, as a stage for his own life. "You have no right to be here," he declared. But the truth was, he was the one who didn't belong anymore. My home, my refuge, this haven we had made, was not his to claim. It was I who had the real power here. My father-in-law, who had always seen my love, had made sure of it. This house, our home, was mine, not in name alone, but in spirit. He was so surprised. His mask slipped. He didn't understand that behind the quiet housewife, there had always been a woman of her own convictions. My love was not blind. I loved him truly, but I was not blind to his flaws, nor would I allow him to use my love for his own devices. He thought I was just a housewife, didn't he? That I had no other talents other than to care for his son and for him. But he didn't know about Mrs. Rose, the character I created. The character who was just like me, observant, intelligent, and able to see the truth where others were blinded. That book was just like me, quietly successful, loved by all, but never seen as anything more than it is. Until now. The aftermath was a whirlwind. Legal battles, divisions of assets, the truth revealed. It wasn't easy. But in the end, there was a bittersweet triumph. I found a new home, new purpose, and a deep, unwavering love in my son. And he had become a man who understood what was truly important. Love, family, honesty, kindness. He was everything his father was not. It was a journey into ourselves, into our true strength, and into true wisdom. Sometimes, it's the unexpected challenges in life that force us to see our own strengths. And sometimes, the quietest voices speak the loudest truths. The house was not just walls and a roof, but the lives, love, and wisdom that had been shared within. In that house of whispers, we had found our own truth, our own courage in our own way. Love can be blind, but it must never be blind to the truth. We had always known it in our hearts, but it took a great tragedy for us to finally realize that together, as mother and son, we had always been home. The move was not just about changing houses, it was about redefining our lives. Our new apartment was smaller, yes, but it was ours. The walls weren't steeped in the memories of a broken marriage. Instead, they held the promise of new beginnings. Sunlight streamed through the large windows, illuminating the corners filled with books, a testament to our shared love of stories. It wasn't about grandeur. It was about comfort, about warmth, about us. My floral arrangements became more than just a hobby. They became my therapy. Each petal, each leaf, represented a piece of myself that I was piecing back together. The colors were brighter, the arrangements more expressive. They were no longer just for others. They were an expression of my newfound freedom, my resilience, my own awakening. I finally had time for myself, for the things I had always loved. Rufus, always a diligent student, thrived in our new environment. He was a bright and curious young man, with so much of the world he yearned to experience. The city outside was a constant hum of activity, a symphony of opportunity. He explored new interests, joined a debate club, and even took an interest in photography, capturing the city's hidden beauty. But there were also quiet nights, when the weight of the situation settled on his young shoulders. I watched him, my heart swelling with pride, but also with concern. I knew the events had impacted him deeply. We found joy in simple things, late-night discussions about our favorite authors, impromptu cooking experiments that sometimes turned into kitchen disasters, and weekend trips to explore the city. Our bond, already strong, deepened into something unbreakable. It was a partnership built on mutual respect and shared experiences. I was not just his mother. He was not just my son. We were also each other's best friends. We supported each other, we laughed with each other, and we learned with each other. We healed with each other. The success of the splendid deductions of Mrs. Rose had been unexpected. I was now recognized not just as a mother, but as an author. People started seeking me out, wanting to talk about the book about Mrs. Rose. It was flattering, yes, but also strange. How could this be? The character I had created in the quiet hours of the night had become something for others. This was no longer just my story. It had become everyone's story. The characters and the settings had taken on a life of their own. But even in our new world of peace and joy, shadows from the past would occasionally loom. A message from my ex-husband, asking to see Rufus. A plea for reconciliation. These were reminders that the past, though painful, was still a part of our story. They were echoes, and I knew that I had to be careful, to be mindful of our lives. It was not my job to allow the shadows of the past to taint the life we were building for ourselves. I had to have a conversation with Rufus, a difficult one. I needed him to know the truth, but also to understand that he had control of his own path. "What do you want, Rufus?" I asked him, my voice trembling. "Do you want to see your father?" He looked at me, his eyes filled with a maturity that belied his age. "Mom," he said, "I'll do what is best for us." His answer was clear. He did not feel the need to reconcile with the man who had so easily discarded us. We had each other, and that was enough. Life isn't a fairy tale. It has challenges, heartaches, and moments that are so painful, they leave you questioning all that you knew before. But it also has unexpected joys, unexpected friendships, and the chance to write your own story. Our journey wasn't about pretending the past hadn't happened. It was about making a new future, one filled with our shared love, our shared goals, our shared wisdom. And as I looked at my son, I knew that, together, we could face any storm. The city never sleeps, and neither would we. We would keep going. We would keep growing. We would keep loving. For in the end, it was not the houses we lived in, but the love that filled our hearts that truly made us a home. And that love would never be taken away, and neither would the truth of our wisdom, which had led us to a new beginning. The story you've just witnessed, it wasn't just a story. It was a reflection of the battles that we all face in the quiet corners of our minds. The struggle, the heartbreak, the eventual strength. Every emotion you felt during that story is a testament to the power that resides within you. Just as the characters in that story found a way to reclaim their narrative, so can you. Remember, your journey is unique, but your struggles are shared. You are not alone in the shadows or in the light. At Whispers of the Mind, we understand the weight of these everyday challenges. We know how hard it can be to find your way back to yourself, to silence the noise and listen to the true voice within. This channel is a sanctuary for reflection, a space for inner peace and quiet wisdom. We invite you to embrace that wisdom, to learn to listen to the whispers of your own mind. Join our community to explore life's lessons, to discover your own strength, and to reclaim the peace that is rightfully yours. Subscribe to Whispers of the Mind. Let's embark on this journey of self-exploration together, one quiet whisper at a time. Because true freedom begins when you silence the world and listen to the gentle rhythm of your own heart. to the quiet whispers that are meant to guide you. Welcome home.